Today's video is going to be dedicated to the ones that think China is cheap, especially the French. I don't know why I'm saying the French, but you know, the Europeans who think China's living cost is not that expensive. Today I'll be showing you how expensive it is to live in China today. Did you know why I had to run to Starbucks? It's not because I gotta rush to the bathroom or something. It's just because parking ain't free in China. Because if I spend more than 10 minutes at this parking lot, then they start charging me. So I have to rush in. Hopefully there's no line and get the coffee as soon as possible. It's not that expensive. It's around 5 RMB, which is approximately 80 cents dollars. But if you be running to Starbucks every day, then you wouldn't want to be charged every day. So I just bought a tall Americano at the Starbucks, and I would like to show you guys how much it costs to buy an Americano in a Chinese Starbucks. So I paid 27 RMB for it. It's probably around $4 to $5. I kind of forgot how much it costs in America, but then I lived in Europe for quite a while, and in one of the most expensive countries, called Switzerland. An Americano in Switzerland for the same size, it costs around 7 Swiss francs, and 7 Swiss francs is around 49 RMB, which it may seem really expensive. 7 francs is around $7 as well. It may seem very expensive, but you have to know this: a fresh college graduate earns around 4,000 Swiss francs a month, and for them each Starbucks costs 7 francs, which is 7 francs to 4,000 francs. But then if you're a fresh college graduate in China, you get paid around 4,000 RMB, and for a cup of Starbucks it costs around 27 RMB. So it's 27 to 4,000. One is 7 to 4,000. So it's not very expensive if you are earning Swiss francs and then you try to spend it in China. But then for a fresh college graduate in China who earns around 4,000 RMB to buy a 27 RMB cup of coffee, it's pretty expensive. It's not that affordable. Next up, the gas station. This is always a very scary moment for me. I'm always really afraid to look at the meter because the number just seems never gonna stop. Let me show you. So the gas station charged me 400 RMB, which is approximately around $60. But my car was half tank empty, so it was only half tank. But if it's a full tank, it probably cost me around $120. But I guess that's my fault because I have a car that eats a lot of gas. If I got an electric car, then I probably wouldn't have to pay that much. Especially the electricity bills for electric cars in China at the moment is still pretty cheap. But I'm just not really into the electric cars. And another part of the living cost is the housing cost, which I feel is pretty expensive in China. I've lived in Beijing for a couple of years. I was paying 9,000 RMB for a 2-bedroom apartment in city center, a great location. If you're a college graduate, you'd be probably earning 8,000 or 9,000 RMB. That's a pretty good job for right out of college, and you decide to live in Shanghai or Beijing. You'd be probably paying half of your earnings to your landlords. Half. Because you'd be earning around 8,000 RMB. A crappy old place in Beijing or Shanghai will cost around 4,000. I've heard people who spend 2 hours or 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours a day on just commuting to work. If you want to get a pretty nice, furnished, close to where your office is, you'll be looking at around 6,000 to 7,000 RMB per month. And at the end of the day, you probably are left with not that much money because food costs is really expensive. Right now, I'm just outside of a McDonald's, and I'm gonna show you how much a McDonald's burger costs. This is pretty cool. It's a skate park, just in front of my job. one thing that I find really interesting in China is that you don't have to bring a wallet anymore because it's basically cashless and you pay everything electronically. The main problem with this is you don't feel like paying anymore. You just pay everything with your QR code. And so you don't really feel how much money you're spending. But at the end of the month when you see the bill, it's a huge headache. I couldn't dine in because I couldn't find a parking spot. I usually just park randomly where I don't disturb the others. That way I can avoid parking fees. So I just got a double cheeseburger for 28 RMB. That's an easy math. That's around $4. For a good meal, for a decent meal, for example, a bowl of pho or a pad thai, that will cost you around 50 RMB, which is $7. And then if you dine out with friends and you guys want decent food, it will cost you around 150 RMB per person, which is around, my math is really bad. I know I'm Asian, but forgive me for my math skills. So it'll be around $20 to $30 if you want a decent meal with your friends. It may not seem a lot, it's just only $20, but then if you put it into Chinese money perspective, it's around 150 RMB. And just bear in mind, in second tier city, like where I'm living in, you'd just be earning 5,000 to 6,000 RMB a month. And spending 150 RMB on a meal is really expensive. At least for me, at the end of every month, my biggest bill come from eating. Just simply food. Food will take up around half of my credit card bills. Speaking of cars, take a wild guess how much this G-Wagon cost. Take a wild guess. I think it starts around 2 million RMB. And because that car has such a huge demand, the dealer is asking for $500,000 RMB extra. So the G-Wagon will cost around $500,000. It's crazy. Forget the G-Wagon. This is the car that I feel it's the craziest of all time. As you can see, it's a minivan, but that minivan cost around 1 million RMB. Well, apparently that minivan has become a social symbol in China, and that's why it costs 1 million RMB. Crazy for a minivan. Oh, here comes another one right here. You see it? This black minivan. Oh, look. Here's a Toyota minivan parked just right next to me. And it's funny because this car used to be used a lot in Hong Kong to transport celebrities around the city. But the celebrities use it because they want to be under the radar. That's why they chose a minivan, a Toyota minivan, right? But when the car came to China, it was completely the opposite because the Chinese buyers felt this is a car that shows the social status because all the celebrities used it in Hong Kong, and that's why they want to use these cars in China to show their status symbol as if they're celebrities. And that's why these cars